Hello everyone. I hope you are keeping safe and are now rescheduling your preparation strategies in terms of change in the prelims examination schedule. Now, we have announced online classes and you have been updated towards it also. I just wanted to communicate you, as I promised earlier, with one specific program which is called Consistent Synthesis Training Program. I launched this program last year and CSTP have been one of the most successful programs in solving the objective with which we planned it. The nature of program basically is to enhance our writing skills, to increase our capacity of comprehending the question's requirement, to attempt developing the capacity of swiftly integrating static and dynamic part in my answer writing to get better marks than my competitor. The question that comes automatically in our minds for all those who have enrolled in this program, which will be for 2021 main, common question that comes up in our mind when it comes to CSTP is what exactly is the planning and how do we proceed to make it different from any other standard test programs that we normally take into consideration. Like in the earlier version, this time also we are maintaining the program with an absolute orientation of consistency on weekly basis. There is much defined syllabus that we have planned out this time. Number one difference. Number two difference, we will be getting the chat after a certain topic is over in regards of doubt clearing. There will also be provision of showing comparative performance so that you get to know where do you stand. Now coming to the question which talked about why and how it goes different from the other test program. So in that perspective, I'll say it is different from other test programs because it is not targeting something that is complete 3 hours UPSC pattern questions. It is basically covering the standard maximum marks questions as 10 marker, 20 marker, 15 marker, and you are being advised to attempt that in the stipulated time. Like ideally speaking, a 10 marker question requires 10 minutes in reading, comprehending, framing, and writing, and you can approximate the requirement for the subsequent maximum marks question. So here also you are advised to follow a time bound manner thing, but that is secondary. Primary objective of CSTP is to generate that confidence that every information which we have in our brains, we are living in the time which is information age, and when it is information age, it is very hard to believe that I as an aspirant is not aware of the things that I'm supposed to put into words. I'm aware of it. The problem is that it doesn't click in that given point in time, or I don't recall it. I don't make sense that it can be integrated with my answer writing, and I just miss out on the opportunity. You need to generate the swift capacity of recollecting the facts which are right there somewhere in the cold box. Now, sooner you generate that capacity, better is your answer framing. So basically, when I talk about CSTP, we are talking about answer writing skills. And answer writing skills is integrative of many things altogether. And I'll be talking about that in the reference of how we have planned out our CSTP, the new CSTP, targeting 2020-21. Now it's a 1 year program and you will be getting the consistent sequence of the questions and the new features that have been added. I'll try to take the references of each one of them one by one and will be further detailing you how to proceed with the integration in the answer writing approach. So I'm quickly getting to the screen sharing. Right, as all of you can notice, we have got CSTP 2020-21 in front of us, and it very clearly reads, and this has to be taken into reference, that all those who are already there in the cycle, because we have got a rescheduling which earlier was not being preempted, so those will continue with it, and we will be starting with the program from 1st 20th June. That will be the first set of question for the CSTP. Now the features of the program, as you all have seen it, includes it is online only and it is an important answer improvement program. And when I say answer writing improvement program, what you need to understand is that you already have completed your syllabus by yourself, by doing the classes, whatsoever is the case. But there is a sort of gap, there is a sort of lack of confidence that yes, I can write it. No, I'm not generating that confidence. It can be a partial lack of confidence or it can be a complete lack of confidence. If I have to explain it, I'll say partial lack of confidence actually goes with one point, that there are certain topic, it is topic specific, that there are certain topics which I don't find to be comfortable. I find it very difficult to comprehend it, to make the logical answer to it. That will be the specific trouble, partial trouble. And compared to it, what is the complete, absolute kind of challenge? That I know everything. Everything is there in my brain. But when it comes to writing, I find it difficult to express myself. Whether it is partial or it is complete, I'm writing whole here. So I'm targeting both these aspects, whether the challenge that we see is partial or the challenge that we see is topic specific. In both the cases, you will be standing at a losing end if you don't overcome this hindrance. Lack of confidence is the most killing factor when it comes to civil services examination. What makes my CSTP program different is that here everything is in coordination. It is not oriented towards, because when you try to attempt something which is being provided by person A, person A will be in a better position of giving you what exactly was required to be written for that asked question. And person A, who is actually evaluating and giving you feedback, will give you a complete package rather than divided job responsibility. Because I don't believe in excessive commercialization. That is the reason whenever we are attempting any question, because we'll be attempting 5, 6, 10 questions per week, and that is how we proceed with our CSTP. It will be that I'll be giving you questions, I'll be giving you evaluation, I'll be having chats with you to solve out your challenges, any sort of doubt that you are having. So it will give you a complete package, and that complete package will surely add the benefit. मेरा इस प्रोफेशन में more than 20 years का experience है, and that surely counts, not just in the documented evidences in terms of successful candidates, but also the overall satisfaction and the grooming that has been there with the students. So if you try to make sense with that, if you try to make sense with that comprehension, you are actually doing the best decision. Now, when we take the reference of this program further, and I just scroll it down, I have not modified anything in terms of its fee. In spite of the fact that I have already included several features to it, the fee remains the same as the last year program. I already said the highlight of the program is that you will be getting questions which will be uploaded on the portal or can be emailed also, whichever way it will be convenient for the individual aspirants. With the important reference books, you will be getting the important reference book support also. I've already taken one video on this. We are not in the times where examination is without certain textbook. Examination is all about the understanding that I as an aspirant is developed with. It is my perspective. It is not the perspective that textbooks gives me. Textbooks gives me information. So my understanding and my information surely comes from textbook or comes from notes, no denial to it. But how do I integrate it to enrich my understanding? How do I integrate it to actually generate on the capacity of comprehending the things, putting it into the place, formatting it into a logical answer, fitting in diagrams wherever required? That is what we have to practice. So perspective is that I should not be orienting towards books, because nature of questions are also not that. Some questions do are direct questions, so you can take the reference of those direct questions altogether. But you need to understand that those direct questions are also rare, and it is majorly asking us to integrate the things. So perspective development is very important part of this particular program. You need to understand that you have to be at your best to express. Rest, all the things said and done, is not up to the mark. You have to develop your perspective. Now, what is new in this is I want to quickly scroll down with my syllabus details. Those who have enrolled have already got that in their mails. And for those who are still in the deciding process, we will be beginning with our trade, transport, and communication segment as our test one in this cycle. And the cycle, the first slot time frame is the time frame between 20th June to 20th July. And what are the topics that we are taking? So you can see we are aware of the fact that this topic, we call it economic geography part 1, has maximum say in paper 2, that is in Indian perspective. Because when I talk about the trade, I have got the single clear mention of trade in paper 1. So global trade in paper 1, and rest all is confined with paper 2. So the main focus, as we are aware of it, of economic geography is paper 2. So you can see that we are taking patterns of world trade, all road, rail, waterways, airways, pipeline networking in paper 2. There is also this very important part which makes it multi-topics. If I read this, their complementary role in regional development. Can you read it as a single point topic? It is not, because regional development and its forward backward links comes up with the transportation and communication links. So you have to take that kind of integration also. Growing importance of ports in national and foreign trade. All these are very important. Trade balance, the trade policy, export processing zone, communication information technology and its impact. And the important most, the Indian space program, largely the application of Indian space program. You know, when I talk about space program in India, I'm not supposed to be aware of INSAT series or IRS or any other sort is wrong. But are we in our geographical perspective required to take into account the new satellite launched and what is the next in the pipeline? My perspective in space program is how Space Application Center, ISRO, and all the series of satellites that we are having is helping us in data management, mitigation, manipulation, resource management, disaster risk reduction, all that. So you have to take it in the application part. The applied part is what is important. So there is enrichment, there is the enlargement of the syllabus that makes the things much more easier for you. Or you have to understand, you know, whenever we take the preparation strategies, individuality is must. आप as an individual क्या प्रॉब्लम फेस करते हैं, आप एज एन इंडिविजुअल क्या स्ट्रेंथ महसूस करते हैं, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. अगर आप उसको नहीं जस्टिफाई करोगे और आप कहीं ना कहीं एक ग्रुप, एक हर्ड के साथ बहते चले जा रहे हो कि यही स्ट्रैटेजी है, तो वो अपने आप में बहुत गलत होता है. आपको समझना चाहिए कि किसी भी स्ट्रैटेजी के लिए यू नीड टू डेवलप योर इंडिविजुअल पर्सपेक्टिव. तो मेरा प्राइमरी टारगेट इस प्रोग्राम के लिए यही है कि इंडिविजुअलिटी जनरेट हो सके. तो इंडिविजुअलिटी जनरेट होगी तो आपको खुद ही कॉन्फिडेंस आएगा कि हाँ, ये चीज मेरी खराब थी, अब इस चीज में मैं थोड़ा सा इंप्रूव कर रहा हूँ. सबका अलग प्रॉब्लम पॉइंट है. किसी को ह्यूमन ज्योग्राफी में प्रॉब्लम लगती है, किसी को फिजिकल ज्योग्राफी में प्रॉब्लम लगती है. और ज्योग्राफी के लिए तो आई ऑलवेज से ज्योग्राफी इज एवरीथिंग एंड एवरीथिंग इज ज्योग्राफी. ज्योग्राफी एक ऐसा सब्जेक्ट है जिसको आप कहीं से भी साइडलाइन नहीं कर सकते. तो ज्योग्राफी जैसे सब्जेक्ट की जब इतना बड़ा रिलेवेंस है तो उसका तो हमें फायदा उठाना चाहिए जब वो हमारा ऑप्शनल है. Okay, if I continue with our test program and get to the next slot, that is our next slot, which will be regional and political geography. And again in regional political geography, because I have got both paper 1 and 2 into this. Paper 1 is essentially concepts and paper 2 is essentially application. These topics makes and breaks your attempt. These topics don't have head and tail. If I talk about concept, I still have got something that is, say strict, and yes, I can talk about it. But when it comes to the topics which are like regional, like political, there is precisely nothing concrete. I have to create out that concrete orientation to it. So that makes it challenging. This problem has to be overcome by us. And if I see the topics that have been demarcated, you can see on this page, concept of region, you are directly deriving it from concept of region from geographical thought. Topics are repetitive, and that gives us a glimpse that geography is a discipline of integration, and geographical perspective can be derived only from a trained geographer. And if you try to take environmental issues and regional planning, geography में इतने सारे टॉपिक्स इतने ओवरलैपिंग हैं कि आप उसको जियो इकोनॉमिक्स बोलते हैं, आप उसको पॉलिटिकल ज्योग्राफी, आप उसको रीजनल ज्योग्राफी, and somewhere every individual have got certain capacity to speak about geography, because geography comes from every discipline. But to take a holistic view, you need to have an efficient and of course a support that comes up with the complete package. So that decision is very crucial. That is what I believe in. If I continue with the topics that are being covered in this, so we have planning for sustainable development. Now sustainable development is coming from environment geography. In paper one, it is coming from contemporary issues. So you just need to make up the sense that we don't have topics that are in segregation to each other. Now, if I take the reference of Ferox, Bodvili, Rostov growth model, it is static concept. But then the concepts that are static, we need to understand, is examiner going to ask me Rostov's growth model only? Examiner will ask me to write what is the validity of Rostov's growth model. And if that is being asked, then will I be in the position of only going by textbook? No. I need to integrate my understanding of human physical geography and thereby applying. And as I said, paper 2 is all application. You can see experience of regional planning, 5-year plans, rural development, Panchayati Raj, command area, with Jal Shakti Mantralay, and with the mobilization of Atal Bhujal Yojana. You need to understand that command area, watershed management, the bottom up strategy is taking the center stage. And the bottom up strategy asks me to take into account participation. So I can develop a certain conceptual part, picking it up from any typical regional planning text. But thereafter, I have to apply my understanding of how to solve out the question. So you have to take that into reference. The topics continues because we have included political geography with it also. And as we are aware of the fact that we don't have much of political aspect mentioned in our paper 1, but we do have some of the topics. I'm coming up with each one of them one by one. So if I take the references of regional planning, now see this is coming from contemporary aspects also, problem of agrarian and industrial unrest, regional disparity and economic development, concept of sustainable development and growth, again multi-topic, it cannot be taken up with one. And then we have got linkages of river, globalization, it's all contemporary. Geographical basis of federation, Indian federalism, laws of international boundaries and frontiers, the heartland and rimland concepts. So I do have got some concepts here, but the maximum part in political geography is about application. Emergence of new states, revoking of Article 370 and bifurcation of Jammu and Kashmir is a good point that gives me a prominence to this particular concept. International boundary of India and related issues, we have got the tug of war with China right now. There is a tension that is there in Ladakh. And interestingly, even Nepal is coming up with the challenge that India has unethically occupied its territory, with showing the map that includes Indian territory. So automatically these are contemporary things. It cannot be taken up with a static book. This will be our block number 2 in our CST. The block number 3 will begin from 20th August, and it is perspective and development of human geography, including systems analysis, which is mentioned in models, theories in human geography. And when I talk about perspective and development of human geography, there is a myth that is there. Myth that is there that you are not supposed to study prehistoric scholars. Wrong. You need to be aware of them, because do understand the foundation of geography as a discipline was being laid by prehistoric scholars. I mentioned it earlier also. If I pick up any study, I pick up the beginning of determinism. I see it in the work of Cassius, Herodotus, Strabo. They were the scholars in Greek and Roman schools who talked about that levels of living is determined by the physical environment. You are writing a standard answer on determinism. How can you start the answer without mentioning environmental determinism? It's a myth. You need to be aware of it. Environmentalism has got two aspects in geography: the proto and the neo. And proto essentially goes with prehistoric scholars, including one of the pillars of modern geography. So you have to take that understanding. These topics, areal differentiation, regional synthesis, dichotomy, and dualism, is covering the part of syllabus wherein we have got the different scholars who have contributed. Because here, without any doubt, you have to be aware of thinkers and what has been their orientation or what has been their observation. But when you are trying to learn that, why geography still find it to be lacking in all the tools and all the methods that is required to complete its study? Because geography is ever evolving subject, and our syllabus pauses at the development of 1970. So thankfully, there is restricted areas of development that we need to study, and each one of them has got a background work and has got a preceder. So background work, the preceder, and the procedure. So you have to take the understanding of how it evolved and what it paved way to. So until unless you take this, and that is the reason I have insisted on Kuhn's paradigm several times. I have uploaded a video also on it. If you want, you can see it. That there is always a consistency of the things. There is always an integration of the things. So whether I talk about the systems analysis in human geography, or I talk about the radical behavior human welfare approach, they all have got their beginning from the prehistoric times itself. The only topics in the perspectives in development of human geography that precisely has got slight different orientation includes languages, religion, secularism, cultural region, and human development index. Wherein HDI, with both IHDI and GHI, is to be updated every year. Is required to be updated every year. So when you try to take the reference of human development index and you are trying to take the reference of HDI table with GHI, you are supposed to update it not just with the indicators, because we have encountered a question which is talking about the validity of the indicators, but also what exactly is the relevance of it, because you need to understand that GHI gives me the support to understand why in India we require separate program and emphasized program on women empowerment. So the data is to be utilized as tool. I need to comprehend data. I don't need to create a statistical tool out of that data. That is a myth. So this is something that is applicable part. And this applicable part has got some standard topics also, which I have already talked about: language, religion, geography of language, and geography of religion is not going to change abruptly or suddenly. It will remain somewhere static. But yes, the changes that we are developing in terms of cosmopolitan cultural identity, you should take care of that. Our next block will mark the beginning of relief study. Relief study, which is deriving itself from geomorphology plus the physical features of paper. You can see landform controlling factor, endogenetic, exogenetic, origin of the Earth's crust, geomagnetism, interiors of the Earth, geosyncline, continent drift, isostasy, plate tectonic theory, all of them. The recent theories on mountain building, important one, Kober has been asked in examination precisely. In last more than 20 years, Kober has not been asked in examination. Examiner is now trying to integrate those topics which are largely been hidden. Because when I say what are the theories on mountain building, I precisely don't need any other concept than plate tectonic theory. But I need to be aware of certain more theories which precisely laid the foundation to plate tectonic theory. So whether it is the Joly's concept or it is Kober's concept, Arthur Holmes' concept, Jeffrey's concept, I need to be informed about it because examiner can ask me to write about any of the things. And then we also have got volcanicity, earthquake, tsunami. As I continue on the next page, we have got the geomorphic cycle, landscape development. Mind it here, American school. German and French school makes up a prominent say, wherein American school is the dominant most. Whether I talk about Gilbert, I talk about William Morris Davis, I talk about L.C. King, I'm essentially talking about American scholars. Erosional surfaces, structure and relief of India marks the beginning of paper. Because when we talk about any relief or any in Delhi, since the beginning of lockdown, there has been consistent tremors, and it is giving us the understanding that there is the pressure, the deformational stress that is getting accumulated. We all are aware of the fact that Delhi is in the earthquake zone 4, which makes it high risk zone. Extreme high risk zone is called zone 5. Now, when I'm learning geomorphology in paper 1, world geography, I'm largely understanding the things in terms of all its technicalities and applying examples in context of world. As soon as I integrate it with paper 2, I'm not just revising up the things very well because all of them will come up in application. Which type of fold Himalayas are, has got steeper slopes south. It has got napes at its either end. It has got isoclinal and recumbent fold. So I'm applying it. And when I'm applying it, I'm getting a reminder of the things altogether. And here also you have to get into the microscopic view. We are now not getting physiographic region. We are getting individual physiographic regions. Shivaliks only, Purvanchal only, Kutch Hills, that kind of points. So you have to get into the details. Similarly, you have got this drainage system and watersheds. Please remind yourself that watershed goes with regional approach in geography also. The regional approach in geography very clearly has got its overlap almost with it. As I'm going with my sequence, you must be taking into reference that I have skipped the prelims examination date. I've already told you that consistent synthesis training program is not essentially targeting 2020 examination. It basically is oriented as 1 year program. It is with the test series that we take an absolute targeted go. I'll be talking about it later. Now comes in climate and ocean. That means I'm covering climatology. Needless to say, with the climate of paper 2 and oceanography. Just like in the previous test, here the applied parts we ignore. Like we have not talked about applied geomorphology in the previous block. Similarly, here we'll not be talking about applied climatology or for that matter, oceans, like resource and all will not be talking about. You can see rest of the topics being charted out for you. Elements of weather and climate. Then comes in the weather mechanism and climatic classification. After this, you can easily notice mechanism of Indian climate, Indian climatic regions, all paper 2, application part. I've learned Köppen's classification in paper 1. Applying it to map of India is just a revision. Conway's classification, applying it to map of India, revision. And India is example of that climatic region which actually incorporate every weather mechanism barring the exception of major frontal mechanism. And I'm insisting on major. Because have you ever wondered, Meghalaya, Cherrapunji is essentially experiencing heavy precipitation during the forenoon hours. And it has been proven that it is due to the frontal development between comparatively cold and dry northern air mass and warm and moist southern air mass. So fronts do get developed, but not a major frontal development. And as you can see in the bottom of this block, you have got the ocean study beginning, physiography, plate tectonic theory coming again. Temperature, salinity of oceans, sea surface temperature is the reason that supercyclonic circulations are ever increasing in their frequency, intensity, duration. So when I'm aware of what is normal, I'll be in a better position of judging what is abnormal. So it's very elementary topic, but very important topic. Similarly, heat and salt budgets, regulator of what I can already see as biogeography. I'll be regulating my biomes in aquatic ecosystem based on heat and salt. Because when we say sea surface temperature is increasing, it is essentially destructing the habitat. And coral bleaching is an important example of it. You must be noticing we have not included anything as coral bleaching here. Reason is, I have already told you, we are not taking application. Block which will be from November to December will be bio and environment geography, where I'll essentially say environment geography is as universal topic as is regional. Everything around me is environment. Where will I segregate the things? It has to come up in overlap. So when I read the standard points like genesis of soil, distribution of soil, soil profile, star mark, soil erosion, it's a problem point. It's not a conventional part. Degradation and conservation, so it's also there. Then comes factors that influence plants and animals distribution. So you are talking about the biodiversity with specification. I'm first talking about the flora and then I get on to the fauna diversity and what are the factors that regulates it. So it's about adaptations that you try to enlarge. Problem of deforestation, conservation, social and agroforestry applicable. Gene pool centers, principles of ecology, human ecological adaptation, these goes as conventional part. But influence of man on environment. This is the topic that basically gives me foundation for environment geography. If I take it from what we will be covered by this time, that human impact on environment and human ecological adaptation actually can be correlated with, let me write it complete, determinism, human ecological adaptation, possibilism, human impact on environment. This integration, this coherence is what is required. I hope I am giving you a clear sense here. And then any type of applicable topics from geomorphology, climatology is coming up here, like applied geomorphology, geohydrology, geology, forest wildlife resource, land surface, groundwater, soil and their distribution. So all resources we are taking up here combined with the application, or I'm writing it as applied physical geography because it makes ready sense here. I'm utilizing resources. Where do I draw the boundary line between what is called frontier ethics and sustainable ethics? I need to integrate them. And that is where we take the account of development. All the other topics, urban climate, applied climate logic, coral bleaching, sea level changes, marine pollution. You can see these all are applicable. Environmental challenges, mitigation, and adaptations in global and Indian perspective. Remember, textbooks don't help you here. You have to take it from variable contemporary. Ecosystem management, environmental degradation, biodiversity, environment policy, hazard. Hazard goes with disaster. Is disaster natural only now? Even cyclone is no longer natural because it has been influenced by human activity. So that integration, landslide, earthquake, tsunami, flood, epidemics, drought. We are in pandemic times right now, and we need to take the understanding that how, because if the question on chikungunya can be asked in optional geography, you can understand that there can be a clear straightforward question on COVID-19. Environmental impact assessment principles, environmental management. So Ministry of Environment, Forest, Climate Change will come into limelight. And when it comes into limelight, Forest Conservation Act, Wildlife Protection Act, and Environment Protection Act has to be taken into consideration. So I have got certain standard thing and certain integrative thing. It must be developed. I must train my compatibility between brain and my writing skill, that as I start reading the question, I mentally frame up the answer, because time is the most crucial part in examination. Next slot goes with agriculture geography. Let me go to the next page. So in agriculture and resource, again we are integrating as we started with it. So it is economic geography part 2, because we'll start with trade transport. The types of agriculture, somewhere static. Agricultural inputs and productivity, dynamic. Food and nutrition problem, dynamic. Food security, dynamic. Because here we integrate global hunger index. And once I integrate global hunger index, I can also include multi-dimensional poverty index from HDI, because food security essentially comes up with the reference of capacity of individual to sustain their very basic level of living. And it also is related to the changing climate, because climate change is manipulating all the fundamental food resource base, agriculture, forestry. Climate change is basically manipulating all the food resource base, agriculture, forestry, water resource, and it is also minimizing the capacity. The income levels are being declining. It's not just about availability, it's about job prospects. And if I'll not earn, how will I spend? So I need to take food security from that perspective. Then comes standard topic of Bonthunan agricultural location model. And then we begin with our paper 2. And when we talk about paper 2, I clearly say, barring this exception, this one, because it is written in our contemporary issues in paper 2, rest all of them. Are they dynamic? Yes, they are. And it is about every aspect that we take with Indian agriculture. Talk about Indian agriculture, its planning, its process, everything is there in our syllabus. And you need to take that into understanding. And once I come into this population explosion and food security, I'll be talking about National Food Security Act, which I don't know why, but has largely been misinterpreted with National Food Security Mission. National Food Security Mission is agricultural planning. Food Security Act is food security to the vulnerable population. So you need to be, it's a dynamic thing. I don't have anything standard here, barring the exception of topics like monsoon and agricultural location model. Rest all of them are dynamic. Next slot will be population and settlement. Demography. Standard topics with concepts. Concepts and their validity. Whenever we talk about concepts and their validity, we need to understand that these goes with dynamism of demography. Population is the study of, let me just get on to the complete syllabus page. Population variables can be fertility, mortality, migration, can be population size, population distribution, population composition. And once I take these 6 demographic variables, I take all the topics of my syllabus coming into reference. Only the social well-being, population as social capital is where we are deriving it from sociology. Well-being, health indicators, these are basically the concepts which comes up in the multidisciplinary aspect of geography. It's an applicable part. I know what is social well-being. I know what is well-being in terms of health indicators, but how it integrates with geography. So I need to apply it with the population or demographic variables. And then the urban settlements, rural settlements, the concept of primate city. Here I'll say somewhere it has got static part to it. Otherwise, all of them are dynamic. Town planning by default will modify itself in the very swift frequency. It cannot be in a standard group. Rural urban fringe, all the topics. Maximum of them comes up from paper 1 as well as incompatibility paper 2. So you can see all of them: longevity, workforce dependency, demographic attributes. I've already written it there. Growth and distribution. The cultural regions, application of what we'll be covering with geographical thought. Because in India, the cultural regions are essentially demarcated as linguistic. How and why we'll be taking that in context. And all that racial, linguistic, ethnic diversity. You need to be aware of genesis point for it. Historical perspective of Indian society, taking it largely from society and culture from historical perspective. And then this comes up a very important topic in present perspective in terms of the migrant crisis that we have noticed in the reference of pandemic. The migrant crisis have revived the question that are we providing sufficient security to the people who are moving to distant places in search for better living for them. Applicable, absolute applicable here. And all this, I talked about health indicators, paper 2, rural settlement, urban development, morphology, functional classification of Indian urban places. Ashok Mitra's classification is essentially followed, and question have also been asked. Conurbation and metropolitan region, urban sprawl, how urban sprawl gives me both positive as well as negative impact on the economic growth, demography, societal aspect. You have to be aware of precisely all. Urban sprawl leads to slums. Slums are the areas which are the major containment zones today because of the excessive population density and complete absence of basic amenities. So integration of that is very important. Town planning, I already talked about it, problem of urbanization and remedies. These are the topics that largely goes hidden. And these are the topics which are very important when it comes to answer writing. Because they don't give me anything standard to it. I need to create the answer depending on what is the demand of it. And we close down on this. It also includes only few Weber's concept of limit to growth, static. Rest all of them essentially paper 2, absolutely. MSMEs, new definition have been applied now. Cottage. Manufacturing policy. All of them. Special economic zone, tourism, new industrial policy, industrial regionalization, industrial houses complexes, including public sector. So industrial houses, you need to talk about the big corporates that we are having. Yes, it is a locational factor, but it should not be only from that perspective. Fundamentally, whenever we talk about industry, we talk about locational factors, but it is beyond that. You need to take all of them. Location of cotton, jute, textile, iron, steel, aluminium, fertilizer, paper, chemical, pharmaceutical, automobile, cottage and agro-based industry. Location is there. But when I'm talking about the corporate houses, business houses, public sector enterprises, I need to take the important policy decisions that are related. What I've tried to make you understand with this particular video is that when you decide on enrolling to this program, what you need to understand is that this program will facilitate your answer writing skills, which is comprised of comprehension of question, framing of answer, content building, flow of content, integration of diagrams, subjectivity development, time management. I hope this video will further help you in understanding the importance of this program. This is what I wanted to discuss in this video. Hope that it will be helping you in getting towards your strategy charting in preparing for your civil services examination. I again advise you to take the decision carefully. Don't take any of the argument as provision for substitute to the standard textbooks. I've developed the clear understanding of standard textbooks and I have shown you those also in one of the earlier videos. So if there is any difficulty for you to judge out on the important textbooks, take reference of that video. Don't delete out the standard textbooks from your preparation. They are the must for you to understand what exactly is the geographical perspective in answer writing to geography as an option. Goodbye from me for this time. Happy learning.